When everyone's yelling at you to plant the bomb, you want to make sure that you get it in the right spot. Well, in today's video, I'm going to bring you guys the best plant spots for every single map, including default plants and alternative plant spots that give you the best chance of winning your post plants. Let's get started with Oregon top floor. Now for Oregon top floor, the default plant is going to be, after we breach this wall, it's going to be that corner over there. The only issue is that to reach that corner, we first need to be careful of this door frame with the rotate into kits, and also the head holes in white that if you have an Asami playing over here, then it's gonna be quite hard to push from. But if you manage to do so, this is the best plant spot in all of the side, and this is by many people considered the default of top floor Oregon. The reason for that is because once you reach this area, you're literally exposed to nothing, pretty much. There's nothing that can kill you, maybe a C4 from under, a pre-placed, but that's about it. So you need to be really careful with, the pre-placed C4s, but this is the default plant for Oregon. And other plant spots that we can talk about are, for example, behind the bunk bed. This is also a very good plant spot. As you can see, it's very, you have a lot of cover, the feed holes don't see you, right? It's very good. The only issue is reaching this place. So this is why I don't consider the bunk bed the default, because in order to reach the bunk bed, you need to first of all contest the feed holes, the head holes in games, people behind the top white, maybe a smoke with a shotgun behind the bunk bed wasting time. It's very, very hard to push in from the window. So in order to reach the plant like this, you need to do a lot and you don't have too much control. They might have pre-placed C4s under. It's very chaotic. In my opinion, the window it's not the best place to push from, so planting on here is not, in my opinion, default, but it's a plant spot, because once you reach there, it's actually pretty decent to plant on. So yeah, I would say you can plant there if you happen to be on this part of the map. If you're pushing attic, right, and you happen to be here, you have two options. You either go and plant on default, but again, you need to expose all of your body to dorms and maybe someone playing behind the bunk here in games, right? Or you can go into attic, right? Clear attic, which, by the way, if you're over here and you're prone while falling down, you can see anybody hiding behind the bed. And once you push in, you plant on a place called the Kids Gap. The Kids Gap is this gap over here. Again, you have a lot of cover from anywhere. They cannot kill you from the bed, they cannot kill you from games. The only issue is that playing the post plant is gonna be hard for the guy on the window, because once the defender is defusing the bomb over here, you cannot kill them unless you're throwing nades or stuff like that. So that's the only thing you have to take into account if you want to plant on the kid's cap. Reinforce elbow. So if we open elbow and we happen to breach over, now we are exposed to three angles: freezer, the supply box, and the rotate in laundry. So this is not an ideal place to push from. This is mainly to make pressure and help your teammates plant on the default, which is over here. I'll explain in a second exactly. Now we have a clear view towards default, which is over here, but stay with me because there's more into it than just saying that you plant there, okay? It's very, very difficult to understand how this really works unless that someone explains it to you, which I'm gonna do here. So you have two choices. You either decide to expose yourself to the hallway and not to freezer, and you'll plant over here, right? Maybe a little bit more back, yeah, something like this, yeah, it's good. Or you decide that you don't have control of the hallway, but you have control of freezer, so you tuck yourself towards the wall over here, and now they cannot see you from the hallway, but they can see you from here, right? These are the two decisions you need to make. And obviously, yes, they can still see you from the hallway, but they need to contest freezer before they see you, alright? Because if I'm like this, then freezer can see me, meaning that if someone stands over here, my friend that's playing on freezer will be able to kill the enemy that's standing on this part of the hallway, right, while I'm planting. So I'm covered by the freezer. That's if you have control of freezer, right? If you have teammates on freezer and they're pushed up and they're like over here behind this wall, then you can plant on this corner. If not, if it's the other way around and you have a teammate playing on the pillar like this, then you want to plant leaving your body exposed to the hallway but not to freezer, because sometimes enemies like to play on freezer, and I've had this happen to me before where I'm planting over here and I get killed because the guy's on freezer. So this is the two defaults on this map, on this side of the map. Now let's talk about the alternative plant spots. So a very good one is on this corner, right? You're not exposed to freezer, you're not exposed barely to pillar, pretty much, right? This is pretty safe in general. It's mainly when you know that someone's pushing from the attic rotate 1v2 scenario, right? Stuff like that. Then you might prefer to plant on this part of the map. It's not the best for the post plant, because remember, if you plant on this corner or on this corner, you guys can still defend from the hatch. And there's a lot of control, like playing behind the pillar. It's a very attacker-sided post plant, but this one over here, not so much. It's a little bit more harder to actually defend, unless that you guys have like some sort of head holes from blue, right? This is usually something defenders make to contest blue stairs. So in this case, this is a benefit for you guys when defending this bomb site, right? You can defend it from the blue stairs, but it's still not ideal in my opinion. You will always try and get the plant on the default. Now, let's talk about laundry, but not so much, because laundry isn't, in my opinion, a good site to attack at all. You should always try avoid attacking laundry unless it's because you see enemies leaving laundry free. If laundry is free, then that's another story. But usually laundry is gonna have a mirror behind this reinforced wall, or maybe a smoke playing over here. They have someone maybe on this corner, right? And it's super hard to like actually predict, because you know, let's be honest, you're never pre-aiming over here, and if you are, you're still exposed to the hallway, the attic rotate, the head holes. There's 3 angles, including this 4th one over here. So it's very hard to push laundry, but if you do, this is one plant spot that you can do. It's alternative, and it's obviously depending on many things, right? Many situations. And the second one is on this corner over here. Those are the 2 alternative plant spots. Alright, so we're gonna start with Oregon, kitchen and dining. We're not gonna do the 4th side, which is kitchen and stage, because for me personally, I don't believe that side is better than kitchen and dining. You can try it out if you want to try and be different, but in my opinion, this is a very solid 3rd side, and I'm going to explain why in a second. So we have 2 default plants for this side. We have a default plant for kitchen and a very strong very strong plant spot for dining. Both are really good, and I'm going to show you guys how they are really good. So first of all, you need to bridge this wall. You can either ace charge it, Hibana, or simply do the thermite trick I'm about to show you, which is you go above, you get next to the ladder, something like this, maybe more to the front, right? Yeah. And now you bridge it. When I go down, I'm gonna realize that I can actually vault, right? This is very important. You can vault the bridge. So if I'm an attacker, right, and I'm playing over here the post plant, then what I can do is I smoke and vault. It's literally smoke like this, yeah, smoke the head holes and the like that. I can also smoke the doorway over there. I just vault and I start planting, and then the post plant is a very good post plant, because now they can cover you from the window, they can cover you from the stairs. You can run from this door over here. You can also play the vert. It's a very powerful plant spot. But we have another one, and the other one is in kitchen. So the one in kitchen, in my opinion, is a bit more secure, but both I think have the same difficulty. So it all just depends on where the enemies decide to fortify most. If the enemies decide to make the kitchen more fortified, more hard to push, then just go for dining. And if dining is harder, then just go to kitchen. It's that simple. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to get the kitchen wall from the bird. So we're gonna go up. So it's very important that you try and get the closest as possible to the front, all right? And you bridge something like that. And now let's go down and let's see how it looks like. All right, so as you can see, this is how it's gonna look like. You need to find the vault prompt on the side that has the elevation, which is over here. As you can see, this is part that's elevated, but this one has a de-elevation. So this is where the vault prompt is gonna be at. And just look how free this looks like. It's literally as easy as literally smoking from atop, right? It's something like this, right? And now you vault and just start planting on this corner. It's super free, super easy. The vert is gonna be an issue. This hole over here is also gonna be a very big issue, not a small one, a big one. But also the drone hole. The drone hole, I'm gonna show you guys how you can play the drone holes. Alright, so I'm gonna show you guys how to play the post plant. So Mira is over there, right? We're planting. And let's assume that Mira is not on kitchen. Let's assume that Mira was playing on dining. So we have time to like vault, right? Leave the area. And now she's gonna try and get the diffuser. I'm gonna show you guys how you can deny the plant on the diffuser. So we can see her feet perfectly from here. And there you go. We can deny the post plant from the vert. We can deny the post plant from the hole, but also from the drone hole. Breach, vert, drone hole. Those are the 3 ways you can deny the post plant. Alright, so for master and office, this is how it's gonna go. So you guys get the main breach over here, make sure no one's playing on mess so that you can actually vault and not get killed, right? Now this is called default. Why is it called default? It's the most powerful place to plant on this side. In the 2 sides in general, this is a very powerful place to plant. Now, if assuming that it's very hard to push because they have a lot of utility, they're using 2B route, they're using the kite or bandit tricking, it's super hard to push, then you guys can attempt a Solarium push. Solarium push comes from there, alright? And the way it's gonna work is that you guys try and get some peaks with opening this hole over here, because as you can see, if you're in the window rappelling, you can actually see a little bit of the rotate, so that's really powerful. And once you guys have enough control, you guys should attempt to plant either behind the boxes over here, alright, this is an alternative plant spot, or behind the wall over here. The reason why we plant on this wall is because usually you guys are coming from the door frame, so you will be pre-aiming all these angles, and then you go over here and you plant. And why do we not plant on this corner? Usually because you expose yourself to this part of the map, alright? This little rotate over there, it's very played and people will definitely be there, so just be careful, just plant on this corner and you're safe. Alright, so now we're doing basement and wine. So let me show you guys the default plans for basement. You want to breach on the left side because this way you have access to bean, which is your default plant. Now, bean is a very well common default plant already on Siege, meaning that people already know this little trick about green, and is that they can wall bang you. As you can see, this is wall banged, so they can easily kill you if you're planting on default. But the thing is, if you don't know you're planting on default, then you will probably stick the plant because they cannot see you any way, shape or form. So how do you mask the sound? Is very simple. Just tell a teammate to shoot a lot while you're planting. That alone will make people not realize that you're planting on this corner. Now, another way to plant is on this corner over here. You're basically not exposed to pretty much anything, only swings, which people should be able to clear you off. Also, if you are planning to have a glass on the main breach and you guys want to deny anyone with C4s, then plant on this corner, and this way they have to white swing to actually C4 you. So let me show you how this looks like. So if you're a defender and you just want to C4 default, then this is how it looks like. You can actually kill me probably, yeah. Oh yeah, C4 default. Now, if you try to C4 me on this corner, look how much I need to swing, right? I need to expose all of my body. Even if you try to do it like this, I'm still exposing myself to the main breach. So that's why it's very important to understand this type of plants. Now, one last plant is if you guys are pushing from master and you have little time and the guy is on wine, then to make him move towards you, you can plant on this corner. You're not exposed to the rotate, you're only exposed to connector, but that's fine. Now, for the wine is actually very interesting. So there's many plants you can do, but the default one is very powerful. So if you guys are pushing from boiler, right, assuming that you guys have maybe this open with ace charges to put some pressure on connector, right, this is how it's gonna look like more or less. So you guys can actually hold a long angle. I'm gonna show you guys just for the purpose of, you know, holding this match a little bit better. You can hold this with a long angle like this, which is quite powerful. But now for the boiler, let me show you guys how this is gonna look like. So you guys need to first of all shoot off this keg over here, alright, not this one, because I'll show you guys how this is gonna look like. So if you're a defender trying to deny a plant, first of all, if you don't shoot the keg, look how far I need to be off of the wall. You see how far I am? They can see me so easily if they're playing on the pillar, right? So if I shoot the keg, I'm already hidden a little bit more. But if I plant on this corner, when they swing, they are gonna first see that corner and then they have to swing a little bit more to actually see me. So that's why I wanna plant on this corner over here. I know it might sound stupid, but it's actually very comfy. Now the only issue with planting on this corner is that if they have a C4, they can just throw the C4 somewhere around here without exposing them to the main breach, and they can probably kill you. But if you're planting on this corner, it's way harder to do that. Alright, so for kitchen and dining, the default plant is by getting the main bridge over here. So we open the main bridge with our thermite or our ACs. If you're using Ace, you can actually get it like from over here without needing to like get into the building, so that's much better in my opinion. And once you have this, make sure that the bomb is covering you from this angle. You can smoke this part and just plant. When playing the post plant, just play it from the fireplace stairs, the bottom fireplace stairs. You can also swing from blue bar. You can also swing from this. If you guys have the vert, then you can also defend from the vert. That's all the many ways you can defend the post plant on this part of the side. Now, for this one here, there's another one which I like to do. Can you open the hatch? So, as you guys can see, there's a window up there. So if you plant on this spot where I'm right now, like this, alright, you can play the post plant from the window in the inverted rappel up there. It's very powerful. If I'm trying to defuse over here, then they can literally kill me. It's super powerful spot to be at. You don't need to play vert, you don't need to get any map control other than obviously master bedroom so you don't get swing. But it's very powerful if you can play the vert up there. So these are the two default plans, alternative plan spots for this side. Alright, so we're in Chalet in Blue Bar and Games. So I'm gonna show you guys the default plan for Games. So if you're doing a default plan on Games, it's because you plan on rushing this window. So let me show you guys how this looks like. So you will bring an operator like Jing. You can smoke all of the rotate, the head holes, just by putting it on top of the Billard. Then the other smoke can go somewhere bouncing from this half wall like that. And now you just throw your jinx in and just try and plant. You need to plant on this corner, because this way, if they try to swing you, they have to expose the whole of their body, and it's more easier for you guys to actually get the plant out. If you plant on this corner, they can kill you from this rotate, from the head holes, they can actually swing you much easier from the doorway over here. So you need to be really careful and just plant on this corner. If you want to back down a little bit like this, that's also fine. That's the best. Now, for this side specifically, it's very recommended that you guys get the vert. Shoot the fucking blue bar thingy. There you go. So you need to get the vert. It's very important, especially library. Library is gonna be a must if you guys want to post plant later on for the diffuser planting over here. Now, if you plan on planting on blue bar, and if you're doing a fast plant again, then you should smoke and try to plant. So for example, I will like gym over here, you know, etc. Need to fast plant on this corner. All right. The reason why we fast plant on this corner is because on this corner you're not necessarily exposed to pretty much anything, like the rotate over there. You're only exposed to swings mainly. So if you plant on this corner like this, if you want to attack more in the corner like that, that's fine. Just make sure that you're planting somewhere here, and then you can just pay post plant. Alright, so we're gonna do gym and master in Clubhouse. So we're gonna show you guys all the default plans. So first of all, you wanna get the main wall here into bathroom, and also into the main stairs, into the loggy swing. This is not a wall for you guys to walk through. Alright, you're gonna probably get killed. This is mainly to hold this area and make sure no one's playing on red. Why is that important? Because we are gonna plant from gym. That's where all of this idea is coming from. So if you have a teammate, a Monty, whatever on gym, you can just smoke like this, right? And now you go in and you plant behind the press. You're fully covered, nothing is exposing your body, and unless they see 4 line up you, then you're completely fine. Another place you can plant is next to the reinforced wall, which is somewhere around here. If they reinforce the wall, then just hug the wall and you should be fine too. The only issue is you're exposed to bathroom, so I still think that the press one is much better. It all depends on where the enemy is at. And the other one that is also considered default is if you're pushing from con, here behind the bomb site. It's another really good plant spot because you're not exposed to anywhere except bathroom. You can see, oh yeah. So bathroom, if there's an enemy player on bathroom, yeah, that's the only issue with this planting on here. And also if there's anyone on the feed holes of gym, but that one is a bit more rare. You guys should be fine with that. generally. And this is a bomb site. Sorry, this is a plant spot that you want to do when there's enemies mainly playing on Logi or Minsters. So that's a really good one. This is mainly for like a 2v2 scenario, 2v3 scenario on your favor. You know, this is a really good plant spot. There's another one from Professor, which is here behind the bed that has, you know, the metal sheet, so you cannot get shot from. You can plant behind the metal sheet. And this is very good because your teammates can cover you from the window rappel, inverted or normally, doesn't matter. You can also have people on the gym window covering you from gym so that there's no one playing gym when you were planting on this over here. They cannot kill you from bathroom unless they destroy 3-4. They cannot kill you from the Logi rotate either. So this one is also pretty solid. But I still think it's hard regardless to get on this spot, so just be careful with any thorn traps, you know, frost, whatever. Just don't die while jumping the window and you should be fine. Alright, so now we're gonna do CCTV and cache. And for the default plants over here, it's gonna be behind next to the bomb chassis on B. You access to this plant spot mainly by pushing from rafters, because usually if there's an Asami on rafters and she can hold the default plant just from rafters. That's why rafter control is really important for this default plant. Another option for the default plant is to smoke and plant like this in this corner. This is very powerful because you force the enemy to swing, and if you have teammates that are reliable, then you guys should be fine and no one should be dying from this necessarily, especially the one who's planting, but still exposed to rafters, so make sure rafter control is there before attempting any of these plants on CCTV. Now, for cache, you can plant on this corner, hugging the corner like this. Right, you can plant like this, and you're not exposed to the rotate, you're not exposed to the head holes. The only thing you're exposed to is a swing from the rotate, but again, your teammates can cover you from the single door, right, holding the rotate. That's really good. Also, from the window, you can also hold the rotate, so that's a very good, you know, hold also. And the only thing you're also exposed to is anyone on cache, sorry, on CCTV, smoke or C4s can be harmful for this plant. But again, you should be fine. Like, it's a very overall safe. Can you shoot me? Can you find my body?
Not really. I only see a tiny pixel.
Yeah. So a very tiny pixel, and usually you're gonna smoke that area, so you're safe pretty much. Alright, for bottom floor church and arsenal, the basic plant spots are gonna be the AKs over here. This is to not be exposed to the rotating blue gen, and the hallway, that's if you're coming from dirt. This is a really good place to plant. Also, you're not exposed to anyone at the back of arsenal, so if you're like smoking like this, right, then you can like run and then just plant on this corner. That's really good. Another plant spot that it's considered default is if you drop the hatch, then always try and find this corner over here. I don't know why you guys try and, you know, plant on weird spots like over here. Like, yeah, it's fine, but you know, why wouldn't you go to the corner where you're simply covered to every single place? Now, if you're planting on Memorial for the post plant, it's really good to plant on the feed holes over here. Really good area to plant because you can look at. Let me just put a drone, for example. All right. Oops. So if you have the bomb set planted on that corner, you can actually look from the corner over here in the boxes of church. This is from Professor, and you're fully covered. It's basically a one-way towards the enemy, so that's actually really powerful. Yeah, I can see your feed. Yeah, I can see your feed. So yeah, really powerful. Now, if you don't have that much time, or simply it's too much exposure and you don't really have that much control of this bomb site, then go for the blue boxes. This one is really powerful. No one can kill you, and you react based off sound cues in order to swing. So you actually get picker's advantage when swinging like from here. Yeah, it's really good. Now, don't do the rookie mistake of planting behind the wooden cabin or whatever the fuck this is, because it's wallbangable, and also Yeah, if you're a defender, then make sure to open this, because usually defenders won't be playing on this corner. I don't think you should be playing on this corner. Alright, so for bar and cocktail, the default plan is gonna be on this side over here. So you guys will probably push either from the hatch, like pulling hatch, and then getting control over here, right? You pre-aim, get default cam. Oh, I aim horrible. And shoot the radio over there. Okay, so we get the default plan like this. You are fully covered of all the exposed areas. The only issue is you can get C4 from kitchen, and if they swing from kitchen, then you're probably gonna be dead. So you need someone on, not kitchen, sorry, freezer. You need someone on freezer to be able to hold you for to not get killed. But yeah, really good plant over here. Now other default plants are gonna be behind the bin. It's called bins. All right, so you plant over here, and you also have pretty much a lot of cover from many angles, especially from cocktail, mainly from cocktail, right? A really good place to plant. And lastly, if you guys are pushing from heaven, this is called heaven, right? And you're pushing from the window, and you rappel in or whatever, and you have control, then you can plant on C1. It's called C1, C2, and C3. You plant on C1, like over here, dog, and that's a plant down. And last one, another alternative plant spot is if you guys get this window control, then you can plant on this window. So for kitchen 1 and kitchen 2, the default sides are gonna be behind this bomb over here. The only thing you're exposed to are the head holes on that area, so just be careful of that, which is in the red hallway. You need someone in red hallway, but if no one's on red hallway, sorry, if you guys have control of red hallway, then you can plant on over here. Obviously make sure no one's on kitchen 1 with you guys, that's very important. Yeah, let's plant behind the bomb chassis, and anyone on kitchen 2 will need to rush towards you, C4 you, smoke you, or simply lose the round because you guys have planted the bomb. For the other plant default, you need to push from freezer. Also getting the hatch is a must if you guys want to get an angle towards all that area of kitchen 2. So planting behind this bomb chassis is literally the same as the other one, very powerful. Another plant spot you can do is over here. This is alternative one if you don't want to plant behind the bomb chassis for whatever reason. But overall, bomb chassis 1 and bomb chassis 2 are gonna be the must for getting these default sites, alternative plant spots done. So for reading or mining, the default plants are gonna be on this window, for example. Alright, just smoke and plant with jinx and candelas and everything. Very risky, but it's very powerful if you guys get it done. Usually though, you're gonna try and plant maybe also behind the generator of mining. Right, that's also possible. If it's possible, then try and get also angles for the post plant on trains. That's very powerful too if you guys try to post plant. For the fireplace, again, you smoke and plant on this window and just plant. This is how you want to plant on this side. Or if you guys manage to go in, then behind the bomb chassis, that's also a possibility because the enemies will be pushing from fireplace. So in this scenario, then you can plant over here and it's gonna be powerful. That's why I did not say this spot plant for the other side, which is reading and fireplace, because the enemies are not coming from there, they're coming from over here, right? So you planting over here, it's actually not that good. For reading and fireplace, oh yeah, there you go. You need to plant on this default over here. This is a very powerful default, no one can take you out of here. It has wallbang. No, so it's very powerful. All right, you need to plant on this corner. Now, if you guys can, then alternative plant spot on this corner too, but I think it's inferior. It depends on the situation that you are in. Another place to plant is in this corner over here. Again, to get here, you have to go through all of the feed holes. I mean, usually feed holes will be around across, right? Something like that. So it really depends. You need to like literally run around all of the side just to get on that corner, which again, this is reinforced, this is reinforced. So the potential of post planting on this plant spot is very low. Again, situational. This is not default. This one is not default either. The default is over here. Now, for the other side, if you guys are planting just on the window, then the default is literally just on the window. So as soon as you go in, you smoke, you drink everything, and you start planting. But other than that, I don't recommend pushing this side. I think the superior place to plant is gonna be literally on this corner. This is the only area you should be attempting to plant in. This is where you guys will be breaching from. This road, this area over here. So as you can see, you guys can plant just on the. Let me show this a little bit more. There you go. So you guys can plant literally on the door frame like this, or in the wall frame. As you can see, I cannot get killed from the headholds over here. I can from those headholds, but my teammates can also cover me from a long angle, so that's fine. And they cannot kill me from the door over there because of the bomb chassis covering me. So this is a very powerful plant spot. Also, you can smoke it to make it even harder for the enemies to actually kill you. And if you want to, you can turn yourself sideways so they have a harder time trying to headshot you. But this makes your hitbox larger because your bomb is in front of you. You see how this is going? So you will probably rather plant like this. This is a much better plant spot because now your head is inclined towards your teammates and not towards the enemy. So it's harder for them to headshot you if you plant like this. Now, other plant spots you can do, alternative ones, which I don't recommend. I do only recommend pushing that area in my opinion, but hey, if you happen to be in another situation and you need to plant, this is another very good plant spot on this corner over here. Alright, and just to finish off, one last plant spot that you guys can do, again, depending, is around this bomb site. So you can either plant something like this, right? It depends, but always try to go for this this plant over here. Just look at how powerful this is, right? Alright, so for top floor, you guys wanna bridge this bridge over here. And you can either plant on the windows so that you guys can play the post plant later on. Alright, so someone on the rappel on the window, or you guys from the top square stairs, you can also defend the bomb that is over here planted. Another plant spot is on the bomb chassis. If you tug yourself properly like I am right now, then you should not be able to get killed. Be careful because the duffel bag is they can wallbang through the duffel bag, but other than that, you should be fine. Now, another plant spot you guys can do is behind this bomb chassis. Again, it depends on where they are playing because this is very dependent on whether they are in CEO and you guys need to plant like in this corner. You can also plant over here if it's needed, right? It's alternative plant spots, but the main ones are gonna be the one on the window and the one behind the bomb chassis here on CEO. These are the two best ones because usually you guys have the control of all this area, so they cannot flank you. But if you guys plant on this area over here in executive launch, you have a really high chance that you're getting flanked from anywhere when you're trying to plant the bomb. Alright, so for open area, you guys want to be able to get the vert first, like this, right? You get the vert, and now this is going to help you guys play the post plant much better. Once you get the hatch, you can either just plant over somewhere around this area, right? You can plant somewhere around this area and just defend from the vert all of the team, right? Alright, so for planting in staff room, what you guys want to do is push bottom square, right? And you want to plant behind the bomb chassis here on B, alright? Something like this. This is what you guys want to do because now they cannot kill you from the double door in open area. This is very powerful. The only issue is the rotate. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys border. So for border, there's 3 default plans. I'm going to show you guys one of the default plans, which is with Monty plant or Blitz plant, doesn't matter. It's all about turning around and doing the turtle plant. If you plant this way, it's going to make the shield be on your back and it's harder for them to shoot you. But it's very important that you have a teammate on the window so that you guys can actually deny, for example, a warden about to swing, right? Or anyone trying to defuse. It's very important that you guys have someone on the window. So you smoke, boom, turn around, and now warden is going to try to kill me, but he can't. He cannot shoot my shield. Alright. So, then what's the other default plan? The other default plan is if you guys push office and office window, right? So if you guys push office walls, which are these ones by the way, you can ace charge them or thermite or hibana, doesn't matter. But it's very important, shoot the fucking radio, it's very important to plant behind the bomb chassis afterwards. This is very strong. Almost no one can kill you on this position unless they get super close. So it's very strong to plant there. And for the last default plant, it's gonna be on the main bridge over here. So you guys ideally want to make a hole that can give you guys an angle towards the half wall and also the lockers, right? But usually there's gonna be fit holes across all of these, and this is gonna be reinforced. So you wanna plant just on the you wanna plant just on the door. So let me just break this real quick. It will be something like this. Workshop and ventilation. It's very important that you guys push upstairs for the vert, because sometimes enemies will be on the vert. So just, if you want, ram it like that. This is gonna give you an angle to the hallway, which is good, but also this ram alone will get you a lot of vert to also see the rotate, and we can see Warden right there. It's also gonna help you out with getting all of the corners away. So that's only one single ram that you can throw fully from the cover, right, like that, and boom, that ram is gonna do a lot of damage. Now, eventually you also wanna ram that area too, just to put some extra vert on A, but ideally, our plant location is gonna be somewhere on this corner, which I'll show you guys in a second. So we wanna plant on this corner over here if you are exposed to the hallway and the enemy is not in the rotate. If the enemy is in the rotate, then you wanna plant next to the box like this. It all depends on what's easier for you guys to do in that situation, alright? But this is the default plant area. Ideally, you also can plant on this corner if it's possible, but this is an alternative plant because it's way too far and you have to cross all the rotate, you have to expose yourself to the hallway, sometimes they have head holes, so it depends on the setup too. Now for workshop, the only default plant that I recommend to do is the one over here. Alright, so somewhere around here, or maybe behind this is, I think it doesn't have any wall bank. Yeah, it doesn't. So you can plant behind the blue box over here, or behind the red boxes like this, depending on where the enemy is, obviously. So these are the two default plants I recommend to do. I've seen some people plant here, which is fine, but I don't recommend this because for the post plant it's a bit hard to actually defend. For bathroom and tellers, the most default attack is to push archives, clear archives if everything is clear, then breach this wall over here like this. Alright, the breach, the hatch. It's gonna make you an angle towards any rotates or anything in workshop. And then break this other hatch over here. Very important. This one is more important than the other one. And obviously shoot the fucking radio. So now with this breach open, first of all, I put it on a way where I can actually get an angle towards all of this part of bathroom, right? Very important to clear out this part of the bathroom. But also, once you drop, you have cover to plant, right? They can cover you from above all your teammates. There's a rotate there, so you just plant on this corner, or just plant more tucked into this corner like this. And this is the default plant for bathroom. For tellers, you can either plant on the window behind the what do you call this? The machine, I guess. Yeah, the machine. Just plant over here like this, and you're completely safe. Just C4s and traps will be the main issue on the window, but it's a overall pretty safe spot to plant. Just be careful because they can C4 you from above over here. So I would recommend trying to bait the plant somehow. Alright, so for Consulate top side, I'm gonna show you guys the default side. So default plant over here is behind the own chassis for the Billards plant. You guys need to take control of aqua, luggage, and also the rotate. You can nomad everything. Like I like to do is open this window, nomad above so that they cannot push through the door. Then I like to put one nomad behind the blue bar instead of droning it so that it can instantly push anyone outside and just kill them. Drone this area just to check if there's anyone that you can just flash, you know. Sometimes you can just play nomad with flashes and just flash everyone in aqua. And once you have control of that, nomad somewhere inside hookah or on top and plant, boom. Now for the hookah plant, it's very simple. For the hookah plant, you guys push from hookah door or hookah window, right? And you guys want to plant either on ping, right, on ping 1, or behind the barrier over here. Just make sure you're careful with this because defenders can get an angle, which I'll show you guys right now. That if they shoot this below, they can actually see all of your feet across. So you need to be really careful with that. And also now you guys know that as a defender you can make those type of angles, right? So based on that, you need to be really careful when planting on Hookah. That's why I always like the Billards plant way more. Alternative plant spot for this side is also over here on this corner, but this one is not recommended because you can get flanked from blue stairs, the long hallway, right? It's very difficult to play the post plant if you're planting over here. Also, reaching over here is really hard. This is called pink bar, by the way. Reaching pink bar is really hard because usually a defender is gonna be playing on pink bar. So that's why I always recommend to just plant behind the bomb chassis on Billards. Alright, so for the kitchen default plant, you guys need to first get the VIP control, get the vert control, and then you guys want to vault on the window, right? You shoot the window open, you smoke or whatever, and you just try to get the plant down. If you manage to get the plant down, now you guys can defend the plant from the bird. This is a very powerful plant spot. I've done it many times. It's super good. Now, if you guys cannot do this because they are defending kitchen super hard, you guys can attempt a service plant, which is basically using a hard breacher. You try and open the wall somewhere on here, right? And you're trying to get the plant down in this corner. This is the default plant for service, very powerful too. A little bit harder to get to because you can get flanked from courtyard, TVs, hallway of blue or 90 blue, right? Sunrise bar, blue bar, downstairs stairs, toilets. There's many areas they can kill you from before you reach this area. So the default plant spot for theater is first of all take control of Aqua. This is VIP, sorry. This is a very important factor to win the round. Later on, you guys want to get this wall either left or right. I recommend getting the right part of the wall because then if you plant on this corner, enemies have a harder time actually killing you. Let me explain this. If you guys are defending, if you guys get this part of the wall, then defenders can cover this from this long angle, right? So it's very annoying. But if you guys plant on that little corner, yes, they can maybe see you from here, but you can also see them, right? It's very easy to counter. So just plant on the corner like this, right? And boom, this is default plant. In my opinion, this is a very powerful plant spot. Now, other plant spots you guys can do is if you guys plant it, come from the window, right? You can also plant behind the bomb chassis so they cannot see you from theater, right? Another plant spot you guys can do is if you guys are in theater and you get the default bridge, which is this one from theater, right? You can line yourself so that the bomb chassis is protecting you and just plant on this corner. Alright, so for map room, what you guys want to do is get the bridge. In this case, it's not reinforced. I'm just going to ram it, but eventually, usually, let me shoot this so I can talk. Okay, there you go. So usually you guys want to bridge this with a thermite or a hibana. Hibana is mainly for hatches, so you can get the hatches also. In this side, it's all about, let me just get the hatch over here. So for this side, you guys want to try and plant somewhere on this corner. It's completely safe. It's a very good plant spot, a very good default plant spot, in my opinion. Very good. Try to get that corner. For the other map, the other side of the map, you can also plant on the corner over here. This is a really good, powerful plant spot also. I would say this is my second default for this side. And lastly, for people that are pushing from the window, just make sure you're not exposed too much. You can also try and plant somewhere on here, depending on where the enemies are pushing from. If they're pushing from red stairs, then you can try and plant over behind this structure, and if they push you, then you can just swing and kill them. So this is a very good plant spot. Just be careful of head holes and everything and feet holes when you're trying to push, but yeah, overall this is a really good floor of Kanal. You guys can push from diving or yellow, and eventually you will encounter kayaks. In kayaks, you have many options available. One of them is literally just to plant on the door frame like this, but you need to smoke it. This is not very efficient because you're exposed to many angles, but it's a very quick plant that's gonna make pressure on the enemy. This is mainly if you have a Monty, obviously, so you can like Monty plant like this, so it's very good. Now, other plant spot that I recommend to do is the one on this corner in supply. This is a very safe plant spot, and this one is reached by either pushing trench. This is called trench. So you can push trench, open this wall, and then just try and plant behind that. Or you can also get the hatch open, drop, do some, ash stuff, and then just eventually reach here and start planting. The only issues is that you're exposed to the white stairs. So just be careful with that, but other than that, this is a very powerful plant spot and the only one I recommend to try and achieve on this map. So we're in top floor of Kanal. So the default plant is, first of all, open the bridge so you can get to the default plant. Now the default plant is somewhere behind the radar. So as you can see, we're behind the church, they cannot shoot us. This is a very powerful plant spot. Obviously make sure that everything's smoked like this, 1 and 2, right? Before rushing in. And afterwards you guys can play the post plant from the main bridge or in kill box. It's a very powerful plant spot. Now for server, the only one that I recommend to do is this one over here. It's very simple, I know, but it's very efficient because they cannot kill you either ways from radar or control room. And if they happen to rush you very quickly, then you can swing towards the person who is rushing you. So it's very powerful. Let's try to attack me, try to kill me when I'm planting. So you can just swing off sound and you have picker's advantage because you have the sound cue of when they're rushing you. Alright, so for bottom floor, we're gonna be doing default plant, which is first getting the main bridge. You can get the main bridge easier if you guys get the vert. It's also gonna help you guys get defend the post plant later on. So the plant spot is over here. The plant spots are here because look now, they cannot kill you from the hallway, neither for the head holes, neither from the rotate. You're completely covered. If you plant here, they can see you from pillar, they can see you from any angle. So the plant spot default is over here on this corner. And other plant spots you can do is closer to the rotate like this. Or other plant spots you can do is on the pillar, right? So something like this is also doable. These are alternative plant spots. For kitchen, alternative plant spots are, for example, behind the pillar over here. And that's about it for bottom garage. For exhibition and piano, you guys can plant by entering closet like this. You enter closet, alright, you clear everybody, boom, I'm the goat, and you start planting over here in this corner. This is the default plant for piano. For exhibition, the default plant is either in this corner over here. It depends really on where you're trying to not get exposed to, or on this corner over here. But this one, they can actually kill you. So I would say that one is more preferred, but again, it depends on what you guys are trying to do. Mainly try to plant behind the piano. This is probably the best chance you have to get the plant off, or behind the curtain that is not wall bank, by the way, so it's really powerful. Over here, this is also a really good plant spot for you guys to plant. Alright, so we're gonna do con, upstairs, CEO, and long desk, or meeting hall, or however you guys wanna call it. For the top floor push, you need to first, one of the default plants is on this window, so you do a maru, whatever, right? You need to be careful because some defenders like to make vert on it so that they can actually defend from under. But if you're fine with that, you know, if you find the gap, then you should be able to plant it and just use the vert for you. Actually, now you can use this vert for you guys to play the post plant or rappel on the windows, and make sure there's claymores on each window so you don't get run out. For the other default plant on this side is gonna be over this area. So you destroy the plant pot, and you're gonna plant on this corner over here. This is gonna allow you not to get exposed either to the long hallway or to any of these long angles. But reaching here is quite hard because you guys probably need to attack either from admin or the hallway stairs over here, service stairs, yeah. So just be careful with that, but other than that, this is a really good plant spot along with the other one over there. Those are the two main default plants on this side. Alright, so if you guys are pushing Daycare and Bunks, make sure that you guys not open the left side, open the right side, because this way the door cannot be seen towards you guys and you can plant without worrying about the door. The only issue is Daycare, which you need to make sure you don't get killed from, and also the hallway here. Now, if you guys decide that this is too risk and you prefer to just hold one area, then hop on this corner when you're planting, alright, like this. Now they cannot kill you neither from this rotate or the head holes, because this is gonna cover you, right? The only issue is that you are exposed to a rotate on Bunks and the door in Bunks. Those are the two things you need to worry about now. So that's the only thing about the default planting there. Now, if you guys manage to somehow get control of tea room and you ace charge all of these walls, go in here and start planting. This is another default plant you can do. Another one that you can maybe do is planting behind the yellow bomb chassis. I don't recommend this one because if they are in bunks, I mean, to reach here, you're gonna be fighting your soul against everyone. And to reach here, you're still fighting your soul against everyone already. You can technically plant on this door frame, right? It's possible, but you're still exposed to many things. You're also exposed to flanks, door, the people in bunks. So I do recommend only 3 spots. Alright, just so you know, guys, you can open the wall like this. Alright, so welcome to theme park, initiation room, and office. So how do we default plant here? Very simple. Smoke grenade like that. Enter, plant on this corner. That's one way to plant the default plant. For the other, you go behind the pillar. Boom. Second default plant done. Now, for guys pushing from control room, you have 2 options. You either go behind the pillar, or if that's too risky, then just plant on this other corner. Boom. 3 default plants already for initiation. Now, if you guys are pushing from office, alright, you're pushing in cash into office, then this is one of the default plants you can do. Okay, you can plant one on here. The only issue is obviously with the waiting room and feed holes if they're done. But you can easily smoke this off, let someone cover you by shooting around, and this is one of the default plants I would recommend. If that's too risky because whatever reason, then just plant over here where I'm standing right now on ping 1, still smoke it off. And this one I don't recommend it too much. I'd rather just plant on the other one, but I guess it's fine, you can do it. The good thing about this one is that you're not exposed to any feed holes and you're not exposed to the rotate. You're mainly exposed only to either the double door and a little bit of initiation, but the least scary part of initiation over here. Alright, so for bottom floor of theme park, we want to open up with our heart breachers the maintenance, and also we want to open the yellow corridor wall over there. So how does the default plans work here? This is the strongest site in all of Rainbow Six Siege, so we need to make sure we use that to our advantage. Since the site is very hard to attack, if we manage to open the walls and we manage to put a smoke grenade like that, now it's in our control to step in and start planting on this corner. If you plant over here, the chances of you guys winning the round is super high because it's super hard for defenders to actually reach this area if this wall is open and you guys are hard defending it. Because what can they do to really stop you guys from attacking back? They can maybe Asami barrier all of this, but still, like, it's not gonna work, you know? Like, you guys have a lot of control. It's very, very strong. Now, for the second default plan that I recommend to do is if you guys are pushing yellow corridor, you wanna smoke and plant. So the smoke grenade will go on ping 1. And then what you guys want to do is vault on top of this and plant on the black box, alright? Now, if you guys go into one of these boxes, there is a chance that there's gonna be a bug with the prompt of planting, alright? So just to stay safe, plant somewhere around the black boxes. It's gonna still do the job. You're not necessarily at a disadvantage, alright? Don't worry. And the main thing about this plant is that it's an aggressive plant. So if they try to kill you, if they try to run towards you, then you can just hop off the plant and swing them. It's very, very strong. Also, make sure you're careful about the split. This area is called split because it splits one side with another, right? So if they're pushing split, be careful because, yeah, you're exposed to split, but that's about it. Alright, so for top floor of Lair, what we want to do is open this bridge, alright, the one that is over here, medical, or however you guys want to call it, right? Last room. You want to plant on this corner. So how do you reach that corner? You first of all need to be careful of the head holes or rotate. There is a very long angle from the other side of the door, as you can see, so you need to be careful of that. Sometimes they like to place mirrors on this wall, so you need to be ready for that mirror. Also head holes in the left. So it's pretty bad, and that's why I also recommend you guys enter from operational. This area is called operational, and the reason why we push operational is to first of all have control of the flank, correct? Because technically if we plant on this corner and there are enemies over here, then they can just simply C4 or something, you know, and just kill that. So operational is a must with the breach, alright? These are the 2 things you need to take control of. Once you have operational control, you can have people covering you from the, like, a little bit over here, you know, the head holes, R6 room. You can also look into the hallway and put pressure on that mirror. Also, if you see that there's a mirror there or someone playing the wrong angle, there's a window on ping 1. So I'll show you guys in a second. There's a window over here. And if you guys open, then you can actually flash. You can actually flash like that, boom. Flash the mirror. And you have 2 options. You either flash the mirror and push the mirror, or you flush the mirror and simply flush her so that when you smoke, then she cannot kill anybody that's going through the bridge. Now, once that's done, all you need to do is run into this corner and boom, you won the round pretty much. This is a very good plant spot. No one can take you out of here unless they have a pre-placed C4 under or simply they smoke grenade at you afterwards. But again, if they're not playing smoke or C4s or anything, then this is super solid. Now, for B side, alright, if you guys want to plant on B side, what is the default plant? It's very simple. Again, from the same window that we were talking about, if you guys put pressure from here, this is called display, right? So if you put pressure on display, if you flash the mirror or whatever, you kill her, okay, blah blah blah. Now you go into this room. They cannot really see you from anywhere. So this is very solid, very strong. And what you can do is two things. So you can destroy the chair over here, destroy the chair and plant, or you hop on top of this and start planting on top of this structure. The structure is good because you can actually like go up and look through anyone that's running towards you. I don't think they will expect this. They probably think like, oh, he's planting, look at this. Oh, he's planting behind the wall. And then suddenly, boom, he appears from the top and swings you. I mean, yeah, so I'm a defender, right? I'm wrapping the angle, ready to kill him, and then boom, he's up here. So that's a very good plant spot over here, another default plant. Alright, so for bottom floor of Lair, you guys want to plant on this place over here. This is the default plant. The reason why it's considered the default plant is because you literally have the most cover out of anywhere in both sides. So you will push from filtration. There's a window in filtration that goes to an exterior, alright, as you can see. Go through an exterior. So this is already really powerful. Usually there's gonna be head holes over here probably, alright. So you need to be careful about head holes, mirror. But if this is double reinforced, then it's the freest take ever. You just smoke, right, like this, very simple. You smoke, something like this, boom, goes off, start planting now. Start planting, and they cannot take you out of this corner unless they use C4s or smoke grenades. Now, if you guys are pushing from stockroom, then you can plant on this corner, but you need to be careful of lab exit. That is very important, otherwise they can swing you and kill you. But also from the bridge, you need to be careful, and as long as you have cover, then you should be fine. You can also maybe position yourself somewhere around here, but now you're exposing yourself to this door frame, you're still exposed to lab exit, and I usually as a defender like to open these holes, so technically I wouldn't even be able to plant properly because they can technically kill me. Now, if you guys are pushing from toxin, alright, this is called missile, then this is called toxin. So if you guys are pushing from toxin and you guys need to plant somewhere, what I recommend you guys to do is either try and tuck yourselves on this corner over here in ping 1, alright. This is a very decent corner to try and plant. The only issue with this corner is the post plant later on. For the post plant, it's gonna be a little bit hard, because now if you try to move from this position, you're exposed to lab exit, you're exposed to the rotate. Maybe a flank is happening, a late lurk flank, and now you have to worry about your flank. So the only issue with this plant spot is the post plant mainly. So you need to be really careful with where you decide to plant. In my humble opinion, I think that planting after filtration, alright, over here in lab support is very strong and the strongest plant in all of the site. Right. If you guys are playing in Lair for bunks and briefing, then this is how you guys want to be planting for default. So first of all, you have security. If you open the security wall, then you can plant literally on the security wall like this. If you guys have the bunk corridor wall open, then you guys can plant also on the bunk corridor wall. If you guys want to go for a pillar plant, you can also do that. That's also a possibility. They cannot kill you from the rotate or from the door. And if they try to C4 you, if the C4 lands on the pillar, it won't kill you. And just so you know, the angle of throwing a C4 is literally the same for both default plants over there. I will even say for this one too. So technically for C4s, this one is the most secure, because they cannot kill you if it touches the pillar. It literally needs to land either on ping 1 over here, right, on this corner, or it needs to land on top of the table over here. Otherwise, the C4 is not gonna kill you. So it's really good for avoiding getting killed by a C4. Now, for the A side, how can you plant? There's only one correct answer, and that is on this corner over here. So if you guys have control of Bunks corridor, and you open this wall, then if you also have main bridge open that looks into the rotate, you can just plant on this corner, and as you can see, people from the door cannot kill me because this is secure. So I just plant here. The only thing I need to worry about is the rotate. So I'm completely secured and I can plant and no one will be able to kill me. And this is very good. Alright, so if you guys are pushing Assembly and Animus, the two sides downstairs in labs, this is where the default plant will go. So if you guys smoke, for example, over here in the middle, right, this is gonna help you guys be able to run towards the boxes over there. This is our aim. So you run toward the boxes, and now you position yourself in this position, right, where your back is towards the box in your back, and if you position yourself like that, you cannot be killed from any angle at all. They have no feed box to kill you from. They cannot see you from the door frame, they cannot see you from the head holes, and they cannot see you from the other door frame, the one in labs. So very, very strong position to be planting on. And remember, it's you position yourselves like this, right? Like this. This is how you want to plant. Now, if you guys are pushing from the other bridge, right, the one over here in Animus, then you need to make sure that you don't die to the feed holes. That's the first thing, right? Which is easy, because since you guys have a long angle, kind of, right, something like this, then you should be able to kind of control this well. But the thing is, planting behind the tank. So if you guys smoke this off and you make sure no one's playing cargo, then you can plant where I'm right now standing. This is a second default plant, really strong position to plant, and it's only if you guys are pushing either from cargo or from the Animus bridge, right? That's why you will plant here. If you guys are pushing from EXO is this over here. And if you guys are pushing from EXO, then you guys want to plant on this corner on ping 1, because that means you have control of EXO, so you don't really need to plant on that corner. First of all, you're gonna die probably, because you need to take gunfights with the people in tank and the people in nano. So taking gunfights with people in nano and tank is very dangerous. Just so you get on this corner, right? Makes no sense. You just plant on here and no one from nano or tank can kill you. Alright, so for cafe and kitchen, there's only two places you can plant that are super secure. One is in this corner, so if you guys open the bridge to hold a few more angles, right, and you can get on top of this area, if you start planting like this, they can only hit you by a mini pixel, alright? Super, super hard to kill you. Very, very hard to kill you. So just plant like this and you guys should be fine. If you guys want to, you can even plant like this, and it's even harder to kill you. Now, for this area over here, if you guys push from the window, right, you smoke everything off and you guys manage to get on this corner, look at this corner. This is super secure. They cannot kill you from any long angles anywhere. They can maybe kill you with C4s or smoke grenades, but even then I think it's gonna be hard, because this is a brick wall. So they really need to get the C4 somewhere around here to actually kill you. It's a very, very strong position to be planting at. And those are the only two default plants I recommend. There's one alternative plant spot, which is if you guys drop the hatch over here, then you can maybe plant on this corner. Just make sure you have the head hole secured. And if you don't like the head holes, then if you prefer the door frame, just plant on this corner and you should be fine. If you guys are pushing the top floor of labs, then this is how you guys want to do for default plants. So the one plant you can do is behind the pillar over here. Alright, this is a very strong position because you can easily smoke this and then get the plant down. If you guys are thermite or ace, then your job is to push from connector wall, like the outside connector wall. This is the outside connector wall. You push it open, you hold E-box, you put a flank drone over here, right, to hold your flanks, and then you breach open this wall too. This is usually gonna have head holes on the right and reinforced on the left. So if you're a thermite, then you can just put it on the left side and it's gonna breach the whole wall. Once the whole wall is breached, just smoke 1 and 2, run, plant, and if you manage to stick it down, then this is pretty much round 1, because enemies having to get to all the way behind the pillar without dying and then having to defuse for 7 seconds without dying, in my opinion, is almost impossible. Alright, you guys do it properly. So that's one way. Also, just in case you didn't know, if there's a Valkyrie or C4s from under, it's a 1v1 scenario. You have Valcams around the map and you don't know where the Valcams are. Then just plant above the tower over here, and this way they cannot see for you from under. Very strong. Now, for the CC default plant, alright, this is called command center, you can call it CC. You can only plant behind the bomb chassis. This is the only correct answer for default planting in my opinion. Because if you plant behind any of these structures, then you can easily get killed because they can see your head. Alright, so for Emerald Plains upstairs, it's very important to understand that you guys cannot attack from meeting. Meeting makes no sense to attack at all. It's good if you guys want to make some pressure or late lurking, but it's not gonna actually help you guys with default planting. So forget about meeting and concentrate on either this window over here, alright? This window in CEO office is something that you can do to plant. Now, this plant is very easy to deny as a defender, but I've seen this plant happen many times, so you can technically attempt it. Now, if you guys want to go for the most default takes ever, let me first shoot the fucking radio. There you go. So, opening this breach, whoopsie doopsie, alright, opening this breach, you guys will be able to contest many angles that defenders usually won't be contesting as much. And if you guys do happen to contest them, then it should be easy. Once you do that, smoke and plant. It's very simple. Just a smoke grenade that bounces something like this, like that. Boom, you wait to happen. Goes off. Start planting on this corner. If you guys happen to go into this area, you can plant on this corner. This is something I had to destroy, so just punch it or shoot it once. Goes off, and boom, you start planting. If you want to go a bit more close to the wall, you can. But it all depends on what you guys want to do, honestly. It doesn't matter, because if you guys plant it more like this, then when enemies have to defend, right, like when you guys are playing for the post plant, you don't have to wide swing so much. You can just hold it like this, from this angle for example, and if they try to get the diffuser, let me just plant the diffuser, you guys can see that. So if I'm planting the diffuser, right, just look at how I need to defend this. That's simple. Alright, so for the kitchen side here in Emerald Plains, you guys have two options. You can either plant on this door frame, alright, with smokes, Monty. You can Monty plant like planting on reverse, like this. Alright, that's one of the default plants you can do. And for the second default plant is if you guys push into the kitchen side here, alright, you just turn around with Monty and you start planting. This is a very good default plant too. Alright, can even do it more to the wall like this. Alright, and just look how this looks like. They cannot kill you at all. If you're playing the Monty in reverse, you're literally immortal on this side. So really good default plants. Now, I do see people that like to open this wall, like, I don't know, people like to breach this wall, I don't know why. You can if you want to put pressure, you know, make them worry more about the breach, you know, but you guys should always try and attempt going for the default plans for the main part of the plan. If you guys want to, you can also breach like this on this wall, alright? And look what's gonna happen. Boom. This is now part of your control. So if you guys breach the wall like this, the mirror is off. If they have a mirror, it's gone. You can also look all the way towards this. So that means that anyone that's standing here, like playing the mirror or whatever, cannot play the mirror anymore. Very powerful thermite spot to do. And that's why you guys need to play properly on Emerald Plains, alright? Stop wasting your time doing stuff that it's unnecessary. So, for art room and meeting, alright, the second bomb site that is upstairs, this is gonna be your third bomb site. You guys want to plant on this corner over here. This is one of your default plants, very powerful. If you guys want to, then plant like this so your head is not looking towards them, alright? Just plant like this if you want. This is a really good default plant. Now, if you guys want to have a second one, it's over here, over this corner. A really good second default plant. I think it's wallbang, not really sure. Let me double check. Alright, kinda is, yeah, kinda is, but you just need to be careful. Don't let them know that you're planting on this corner. Just, you know, shoot, mask the sound of the shooting, mask the sound of the planting, sorry, and that's it. Now, for the last one, you can do is smoke that off, alright? And now start planting over here with a Monty or whatever. Alright, like that. Really good. The only issue with this one is, again, you can have easy flanks happening on the staircases maybe, I don't know, but if you guys have someone on this window and rappel covering all this long hallway, and then you have someone on like a nomad or a gridlock on these stairs, then you guys should be fine. Literally easiest plant of your life. The only issue is if someone's playing on this corner, alright, something like this can happen, you know, like this is wall mangable, so you need to be careful with that. Also, if they know that you guys are planting there, then maybe they can just throw a C4 like that, boom, C4, deny the plant. So just be careful overall with planting on this corner, but it's very powerful. And to be fair, the same can be said about this, but it's way different, because in this corner, in order for them to C4, they need to expose themselves a lot. So they will you will probably be able to kill them, like they need to like throw the C4 like that, boom. They will probably get killed before they throw the C4, if you guys properly cover the guy planting. If you guys push archives, alright, and you happen to be to plant, you can plant on this corner. This corner is relatively safe. I say relatively because yes, you can smoke it off. If you guys happen to open this bridge, let me just show you guys how this looks like. If you happen to open the bridge in library, then technically yes, you can smoke and plant here too, like this, with a Monty, right? You can Monty plant like this. It's also possible. But yeah, those are the default plants and alternative plant spots for art room that you can do.